What's up, everybody? AJ here from AJ and KT Gaming, and today I'm going to be bringing you all Katie's and my list of top 5 disturbing enemies from The Evil Within 2. So first off, I must warn you that this video is full of The Evil Within 2 spoilers, so if you do not want any spoilers for the storyline, you should definitely click away right now. So fresh off of beating The Evil Within 2, Katie and I began talking about what enemies disturbed us the most. And we started making a list together. And one rule that we did decide on for this list is that we're not going to include the Keeper or Laura, since they are enemies from the original The Evil Within game, even though they did make brief appearances in The Evil Within 2. Before I get into the top 5, I do have some honorable mentions to note. These are pretty creepy monsters that did not make the cut, but they were close to making it. So our first honorable mention is the Anima. The Anima is a lady that I just referred to as the Singing Mirror Lady, as I was playing through The Evil Within 2 before I beat the game and looked it up to see what she's officially called. And the reason I called her the creepy Singing Mirror Lady is just because she does just that. She goes through mirrors and sings a creepy little hum as she does it. She didn't make our top 5 just because, although she is creepy, we just weren't that disturbed by her. Our second honorable mention are the creatures that your wife Myra summons throughout the game. These include the Watcher and Effigy. So the Watcher is a giant white goo monster with a very long neck that he uses to search for Sebastian, thus the name the Watcher. And the Effigy is what appears to be two previously humanoid figures fused together and then also fused with a telephone pole, or maybe they're just carrying the telephone pole, and they only make one appearance in the game. They are pretty much a boss, but kind of a mini boss near the end of the game, and they're pretty disturbing as well. Just once again, not disturbing enough to make the top 5. Our final honorable mention is the Harbinger. This is a guy that Katie and I personally didn't find very freaky, but we could see how many people could. The scariest part about the Harbinger is how much damage he took on Nightmare difficulty. It just took a ridiculous amount of resources to bring one of these guys down. Now that we got honorable mentions out of the way, we can officially dive in to our top 5. At number 5, we have the Matriarch. The most disturbing part about the Matriarch is that it's Sebastian's wife. You've played the whole game trying to save your daughter and also worrying about your wife, and now you have to fight her, and she is this disgusting creature. The Yeti itself, or the Matriarch, whatever you want to call it, isn't extremely disturbing. It's just kind of a deformed Yeti, but just knowing that it's Myra really does make this a pretty disturbing enemy. So at number 4, we have the Stinky Screaming Lady. At least that's what Katie and I called it. Its official name is the Lament. Basically, it's this lady who looks to be very bony and deformed with a lot of arms stuck to her back and front, and she walks around with a green gas surrounding her, and she will scream at the top of her lungs if she sees you. The hardest part about these enemies is that when they scream, they drain your stamina, and they also raise regular zombies, what are called the Lost, from the ground to fight you. So you really don't want to be seen by one of these things. Not to mention, if you try to fight one, they do take a considerable amount of damage. There were also moments where a Lament got a glimpse of me and started just kind of laughing and running after me, and that was pretty freaky too. So now we're at number 3. Number 3 is an enemy that is kind of hard to describe, but luckily I have the video here to show it to you all. Katie and I tried to look up the official name to this thing, but all we got is that it might be just a variant of the Lost, which are just the regular zombies. So this enemy looks like CatDog. If any of you are familiar with that, I'm sure a lot of you are actually. It has 4 arms and 2 heads, and it's attached at a common torso. The thing that makes these things so disturbing is how much ground they can cover in such a short amount of time. They are ridiculously fast. Also, when they get close to you, or actually sometimes even when they're not close to you, they'll split apart at the middle of one of their heads. They kind of have a front head and a back head, and the front head actually kind of looks like multiple heads, but the front head will split apart, revealing a huge gaping mouth with a bunch of jagged teeth. I found this to be incredibly weird and creepy, and that's why this enemy sits at number 3 on our list. Number 2 on our list is the Obscura. The Obscura is an enemy that, honestly, I love. Katie and I already posted my fight with the Obscura. You can find that video on our YouTube channel. And it was an enemy that I just really liked observing. I found it to be very interesting. That being said, it did not take away from how weird and flat out disturbing it is. The Obscura has 3 legs, so it's like a tripod, and it has a camera for a head. It dances around, trying to stun Sebastian by taking flash photographs of him, and then proceeds to attack. Another thing that was very weird about the Obscura is when it takes its photos. It kind of makes a sound like it's having an orgasm, which was pretty strange. Definitely a reason why it made number 2 on our list. The Obscura can also climb on the ceiling during the boss fight, which is just another thing that makes it really weird. Alright, and now we get to number 1. The enemy that disturbed Katie and me the most from The Evil Within 2. That enemy is the Guardian. The Guardian is what I actually just refer to as New Laura. To me, it looked like Laura. What I read is that this is actually supposed to be a woman that was killed by the photographer Stefano Valentini. One of the creepiest parts about the Guardian is that when it's time for it to spawn, it kind of draws a bunch of corpses to itself and becomes this amalgamation of body parts, including a lot of heads. It kind of has a central head that watches you, and I got some pretty good footage of it looking at me through my sniper scope. Another thing that makes this enemy so bizarre is that it just runs around giggling. It can also jump incredibly high, which it does so frequently, and it's also very fast. This is something that is pretty difficult to fight, at least it was for me on Nightmare difficulty. A strong reason why the Guardian made number 1 on our list is because, as I mentioned, it spawns from body parts. So, whenever there's piles of corpses scattered around the world, which there are a lot of in The Evil Within 2, you're always worried, is the Guardian going to spawn right now? And you're always just walking by those body piles and watching them because you're just afraid that this lady's going to jump out and start chasing you. So that's it. I hope you all enjoyed our top 5 disturbing enemies from The Evil Within 2. Definitely comment down below though, because this is just Katie's in my list. I'm sure a lot of you out there have different experiences and different opinions, so please tell us your most disturbing enemies from The Evil Within 2, and also hit that subscribe button if you enjoy our stuff, and give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Katie and I really appreciate you all listening. Once again, I'm AJ from AJ and Katie Gaming. I'll see you all later.